Unethlana, we come to you in prayer today to give you thanks for all the blessings that we have and to give thanks for this opportunity to come together, to fellowship, to share knowledge, and to lift each other up. Pray that you please be with those today who are hurting, who are ill, who are facing adversity. Pray that you please just give them strength, give them courage, and give them comfort. Once again, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for everything we have. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Abraham. So today we are going to be talking about the Sister Communities Program with CCL. And those of you who have been a part of this program so far, have heard about it, know that the one and only Miss Tammy Miller is head of that program. And so we are grateful to have her on the call today as well. So throughout the session, if you've ever been in a session with me before, you know I try to keep them as interactive as possible. It can be kind of hard and difficult during a Zoom meeting to do that, but we're going to try anyway. So we've opened up the chat for this session, and definitely, you know, we want to keep all comments positive and things like that, but it's open. So as I go through this presentation, there'll be some questions that I ask, and I would love for you to just pop in your responses there. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and just ask for our attendees to do is pop in there and let us know your name and where you're from today, because I've got, you know, lots of different great names here: Dixie, Flynn, Joy, Joseph, Linda, Patsy, Sammy, and I know some of you, but some of you I don't, and it would just be good to know where you're from. So if you could just tell me your name and what organization or which community you're from, and then we're going to go ahead and get started on today's presentation. At the end, Tammy will be available to answer any questions. I'll be there too, but Tammy's the boss, and so she really knows this stuff, some of the ins and outs of these things. So we'll tag team together and make that work. And I'm going to do my best to make this go as seamless as possible. So the goals for this session are to tell you a little bit about the purpose of the sister communities, and to showcase some of the great examples of what some of our sister community partnerships have done. And then always want to be able to connect organizations with one another when possible. So that's part of why it's so important to have this, to engage in the chat today, because we will save that and we'll be able to go back and look through that and respond to some of your ideas and desires and all that good stuff. So let's keep moving. All right. So again, I asked you to go ahead and pop in your name and where you're from. So I've got Joseph Warren from the Cherokee community of Puget Sound. Bill Adams is here. Joy from Henderson County. Wonderful. Joy, is that which Henderson County are you from? That would be good just to know the exact city and state where you're coming from. So as you're putting in where you're from and your community, it would be good to know what organization you're part of, just so that we can make sure we're talking about that appropriately. And then if your CCO organization has a sister community, who is that? That would be great to know too, so we can highlight some of the great things that maybe you've done that aren't already in the presentation. So we've got the Cherokee community of Central California here, Kathy Forbes with Capital City Cherokees, wonderful. Dixie's here, Joy's here. Thank you guys so much for interacting with us. So the purpose of the Sister Communities program is to connect organizations within the 14 counties of the Cherokee Nation Reservation with the at-large organizations. We know that, you know, 60%, I think it's over 60, 63% of Cherokees live outside of the reservation. And it's so important to make sure that those individuals who live outside of Cherokee Nation are still connected to Cherokee Nation in important ways. And so that's part of why this program was even created in the first place, was to connect folks together and to help them to support one another's work. So what an organization is doing inside the nation, connecting them with an organization outside of the nation to support one another's work and what you're doing in your communities, but also to connect individuals with one another, because we know that that's one way that we can really support each other and foster connections and foster those family and friendships and things like that. So that was the purpose behind the organization. Again, we know that well over half of Cherokee's registered Cherokee Nation citizens live outside of the 14 counties. And we want to make sure that people are connected to their family and friends. We all, come from one, we're all family in some way. And so it's important to stay connected to those family and also to make new friends for those that maybe you're not familiar with, and then to foster those relationships over time. So this is established by Chief Baker in 2017. And like any program, that any collaboration, any, partnership that's going to work, it takes time to figure out, to catch your stride and to figure out exactly what it is that you want to do, how this will work, and to see examples of the program working. And another thing that we like to, just kind of watch happen over these past 4 years is to see the really interesting collaborations and the types of projects that people come up with. And so we'll go over some of those today. And part of that is just for inspiration for you as we're talking through this, and helping you come up with ideas for what you might be able to do with your existing sister org, or if you don't already have one, to get partnered up with one so that you can do some more of these great things. So the program is growing, which is a wonderful thing for everybody to see. Currently, there's between 20 and 25 partnerships. We'll see that like some of the at-large organizations have partnered with more than one in-nation organization and vice versa. So we have a couple of different organizations on res that have two different sister communities at large as well. A handful of these organizations have actually met up in their at-large communities. So for example, if you are one of the organizations on the res, there's funding available for a couple of your members to fly or travel out to your at-large organization. Of course, right now during COVID, there's just a ban on all Cherokee Nation travel, but as soon as that's lifted, we can, start engaging in that travel again, and hopefully have your organizations meet up with one another, which is really exciting. And also during the CCO conference, we often have members of the at-large organizations come in district to attend the conference and meet up with their in-district organization as well. So there's lots of opportunity to travel and see new things. And one of my favorite things to do when we're out traveling around is eating new foods that we don't always get here in Northeast Oklahoma. So, or if you're from New Mexico and you get to eat hatch chilies every day, then come on down to Oklahoma for some catfish, because we've got the best around. So anyway, there is always something new to do and experience when you get that opportunity to travel. So there are lots of great projects that have come. So I'm going to share just about 3 or 4 of them with you today. And then I hope that as we're talking through this, we can, you guys can share your experiences in the chat as well. So let's see. I'm just going to look at the chat real quick and see if anybody else has joined. I see, okay, so we have Bill Adams with, I believe that's Kansas City, Henderson, Colorado. We have the Colorado Cherokee Circle. That's wonderful. Thanks for being here. American Indian Center of Chicago. Valerie thinks maybe she's in the wrong meeting. I'm not sure. Valerie, I'll just let you know, this is the Cherokee Nation Community and Cultural Outreach presentation on the Sister Communities program, and you're welcome to sit and learn with us as well. So let's talk about a couple more of the benefits of this program. Again, you can always meet new people, whether these folks are your family or not, or they're going to be your new friends. That's great. They're new people. And you also get to stay in touch with your family and friends that you've already made. These are just some of the benefits of getting really engaged with your sister community. It's also helpful to be inspired by some of the great work that different organizations are doing. It's always good just to get new ideas for what you could do. Or, one of my favorite things is just to watch people watch what they like. Just the process of watching a group of people come together and do something together that makes a good impact in their local community is in and of itself inspiring. So that's one of the reasons that we have this program as well. We also do this so that we can teach one another and learn from one another. That's one of the biggest pillars of this program. And of course, travel, we already talked about that, which is a really fun one. You get to develop these lifelong friendships that we hope will continue, even outside of CCO things. You can learn to network with folks outside of your regular circle, where you go to work or wherever. This also, having a sister community also keeps your organization really active, because what we find is that, if one organization is relying on a group of people at another organization to actually get something done, it helps keep the members of both organizations active and working together. It also helps to attract new members to your organization. When they see things like on your Facebook page, or they read about it in the Cherokee Phoenix, for example, think, oh man, that's like really great. I didn't know that there was a community here in Kansas that was doing these wonderful things with Cherokee Nation, but now I'd like to get involved. And so it's a way to attract new members, and it gives you an opportunity to tell your story through media outlets, whether it's social media or the Cherokee Phoenix, or even your local newspapers. That's one of the other great benefits of this program, is that it helps to show what it means to be Cherokee across the United States and beyond, not just in your local community, or not just here in Northeast Oklahoma. It could be anywhere. This also helps you to stay engaged with Cherokee Nation current events. So as I was preparing for this presentation, I was going on to some of the Facebook pages for our at-large organizations. And one of the cool things that I was really excited to see was that people were posting a lot about the Remember the Removal Riders. So right now, that's a great program. And if you don't know what that is, they take a group of young people, I think ages about 18 to 25, and it's a pretty big group. I'm not exactly sure on the number, but somewhere between 12 and 20 people, and along with their adult mentor, and they ride their bikes along the trail, of the removal trail, and they stop. And it takes place over quite a long time, 4 to 6 weeks, and they're moving across the United States, and it's really powerful and impactful program for folks to be a part of, and it's something that I think changes them for life, those who are involved in it. And so when you have a sister community, this is another one of the benefits, is being able to see what's happening throughout Cherokee Nation, and staying engaged with that. So it's really encouraging when I see those kinds of things on Facebook. There's also grant opportunities that sort of open up, or projects that maybe you hadn't thought about before that could, for example, be grant funded. So those are some other benefits. One of the another benefit that we have seen with some of our community organizations is that it actually opens up more avenues to scholarships. So let me give you an example. At some of the Chiefs picnics for the at-large organizations that they have every year, they'll do silent auctions or other kinds of local fundraisers that help raise money for scholarships for students who belong to that organization. Well, what we've also seen with some of our orgs is that the at-large organization might also create like a sub-scholarship fund that allows students who live in the 14 counties to apply, or vice versa, that there might be an organization in the 14 counties who raises money and helps send students who are the at-large residents to college. So that's another wonderful thing. And of course, I'd be remiss, we're a CCO organization here, and so it's really important to talk about language and language preservation. Again, this is just another one of the benefits that you get when you're engaging with Cherokee Nation current events. Well, I don't have the website on me right now, but I know that if you go to CherokeesAtLarge.org, and that'll be on a slide later in this presentation, I believe there's like a pop-up thing that where you can go enter your email address or learn more information. But right now they have free language classes, online language classes that are going to be opening, I believe on June 21st or 22nd. So that's another thing that you can do. You don't have to be a member of a sister organization to do that, but this is another benefit, is that if you're engaged with your sister organization, you'll be more in tune with what's happening with things like language classes. So we can talk a little bit more about that too. And maybe Donnie might be able to pop in if she's got the link for that as well. But it's always a good place. Facebook, the CCO Facebook page is also a great place just to find resources. So now I'm going to take a quick drink of my tea and start talking about the Cherokee community of Northern Central Valley, California, and the Marble City Activity Organization. So this was a project that I actually helped, well, the Marble City organization and the Northern Central Valley community spearheaded this project, and they had it all lined out. And Mary Cooksey from Marble City is amazing, and she's just got all her stuff together, and it's wonderful. And they were able to apply for a grant, and I helped with them, help them a little bit with this grant, but they were able to apply for a grant for an awesome project where collaboratively the folks from Marble City came up with stories that related to the different recipes that were passed down in families in different generations over time. And so they put together this really cool cookbook that had the recipe and a story about the cook and maybe a story about the person's family. And the folks in California were able to help them get that published. So this was a really cool idea where they were able to take different sets of skills or knowledge that people had based on where they were and the things that they had experienced, and came together in this collaborative way and put together this cookbook. Now, what's great about that is that they can then sell that cookbook, and that helps with a little bit of revenue stream for both organizations. So that one was just so inspiring to me when I was helping out with the grant, because I thought that's just wonderful. That's exactly what the Sister Communities program is designed to do, is to help each organization use the tools that the people within the organization have, share that with other people while exchanging knowledge, cultural knowledge, and showing, the folks in California, they had just a different set of skills where they, had computer programming and they knew how to, publish a book, where the folks in Marble City had this wonderful knowledge that they wanted to spread. And so they got together and they said, well, let's do this. And they did. And it's been a really great project. I think maybe they're still in the works of actually getting the book put out. COVID just kind of messed up everything for everybody, but we're still working on it. So that's really exciting. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you to go ahead and pop back in the chat. We've got 14 attendees, so I'd love for everybody to have an opportunity to just put their answer in here. So what benefits have you experienced from the Sister Community Program with CCO? So if you're a member of an organization that has a sister community, I'd love for you to just tell me a little bit about what you have experienced as part of that, and how much fun you've had, or just share your experiences. And it's good for everybody to hear that. And throughout the course of the presentation this morning, I'll come back and try to read through some of them. Okay, so I'm going to go over the one now with the Colorado Cherokee Circle and the Cherokee Elders Rainbow House. I know we had somebody here who said that they were, it was Joy. She used to belong, or she belongs to the Colorado Cherokee Circle. So the CCC is obviously in Colorado, and the Cherokee Elders Rainbow House is based in Locust Grove. I think this is a picture of, I think that might be John doing a presentation for some of the members of the circle out there. And in 2000, 18, I think it was, at the Cherokee conference, the leaders from both organizations got together, and they from Locust Grove in Colorado, and they said, we could really use some the folks at the Rainbow House said we could really use some donations of goods for the Rainbow House, and the people who run the Cherokee Elders Rainbow House are they're just incredible people who have a passion for the community. And what they do, they have the Rainbow House is a facility where people can come and get essential items that they need. And I've heard from the members of the organization that, for example, maybe a woman and her 2 kids comes to the police station in the middle of the night, and they're needing a way out, and the police help them to find the resources that they need to get out of a bad situation. And that mother is able to take her children to the Cherokee Rainbow House and pick out essential items like bedding and clothes for her kids, and basic furniture and things like that. And so at the conference, the Cherokee Elders Council said, hey, we could use some help with donations to fill up our house where people in need can come. No questions asked. They just come and they take what they need. And within a few months, not even months, I think it was just a matter of a few weeks after the conference, the folks up in Colorado had organized this entire truckload, I think here it's almost empty except for the furniture. They took an entire truckload of goods from Colorado, brought it to Locust Grove, Oklahoma, unloaded it for them, and it was able to be distributed to the folks in the community. So that's a really great project, very different from the cookbook project, but it still shows the benefits of connecting those 2 communities. And I have some of my friends are actually from the Colorado Cherokee Circle, and they had explained to me that it wasn't just members of the organization that were helping to make distributions, but like a couple of the guys were members of gyms in Denver, and they just put out a flyer at their gym, and there was just people who were not even Cherokee that were donating to this. And again, that's the stuff that we're really excited to see beyond just the organizations connecting with one another, but is showing a Cherokee Nation presence in Colorado or Nebraska or Washington State or Florida, that this is what Cherokee Nation is all about. That's what Cherokee people do. We care for each other, and we support one another in this way. And so here, I think this was the following year after they made the delivery. I think the Colorado Cherokee Circle got an award at the next year's conference for their great work that they did. So again, just some examples of the great work that people are doing. So here's another example that I'm happy to share. This is the Mount Hood Cherokees and the Stillwell Friends of the Library group. So the Stillwell Friends of the Library, of course, they're members of the library there in Stillwell, and there's a deep interest in doing genealogy. Now, this is something that is the skill set of the folks at the Friends of the Library group. They know how to do this. They do this all the time with folks. And so the Mount Hood group said, hey, we'd really like to get together. And so they have ongoing presentations and discussions with one another. So this might not be something that's as, I don't want to say big, but as, public or whatnot. But it is fostering those relationships between people. And so they're getting an opportunity to learn about their heritage, their culture, and about one another. So this is, here are some of the pictures from the cultural enrichment that takes place right after the conference. And the Friends of the Library group were showing some of the great assets and historical places that are there in Adair County for the cultural enrichment. So again, it's just showing different ways that our organizations can get together and work with one another. So I'm going to, this is wonderful. I see Lisa here. She introduced herself in Cherokee, and I will not attempt to say that because I'm not even at the learner level yet. But maybe in a year from now, when I sign up for this, the Cherokee language classes, I'll be able to say that. But thank you so much, Lisa, for introducing yourself. She's with the Mount Hood Cherokees in Oregon. So hopefully I got that right on the different projects that you've been doing with the Stillwell group. Oh, Donnie, thank you so much, Donnie, for posting in the chat. Donnie has posted the website where you can go sign up for language classes. I think, I think that those start in July or at the end of this month or early next month. Let's see, we have Central Valley here, Ellie's here, and they coordinate with Marble City. Oh, this is great. I have not heard about this one. So Ellie, maybe after we, towards the end of the presentation, if we still have time, I'd love for you to talk about the project that it sounds like you guys are working on right now, where headstones for graves for Cherokees building in Grass Valley, California. That's wonderful. Like, what a cool project. There's so many interesting projects that come out when people just work together on these things. So anyway, yeah, I'd love to have you say a few words about that here in a few minutes. So again, if you would, it's time to interact. Open up that chat box and tell us what kind of projects you would like to see supported by the Sister Communities program. What ideas do you have? Again, as you can see from some of those that we've showcased, there are projects from like all kinds of different projects that are happening. And now we have this one on the headstones. How really, beautiful is that? So here's another one that I'm just really proud of. I don't know, maybe proud's not the right word. I'm really inspired by it. Maybe that's the better word. The Cherokee Citizens League of Southeast Texas and the Neighborhood Association of Chewy. So they've been able to respond to one another over the past several years when there's been some natural disasters happening. So the first one I just want to point out is in 2016, there was a flood. Anybody who lives here in Northeast Oklahoma will remember this. There's this massive flood along Highway 10 in Northern Cherokee and in Northern Adair counties. And it was absolutely devastating to the people who lived there. The Chewy community building itself was outside of the part of the area that bore the brunt of the flood. So the building itself was not like these here. These are other areas along Highway 10 here. But Chewy Community Building opened its doors to residents in the area who might needed someplace to go because maybe their home was underwater. And it was really wonderful because their sister community in Houston was able to round up necessary items and send a truck up to Chewy, and they also made sure that the folks in Chewy had access to gift cards that they needed for essential items for families who were in need. And then a year later, when the hurricane hit in Houston, the Chewy community was able to mobilize very quickly and respond to their brothers and sisters and friends in Houston by delivering things like water and other essential items. And so that's, and I remember the following year in 2008, I think it would have been in 2018, the chief was so proud of the work that had happened, that it doesn't always take government intervention or massive scale response efforts to respond to something like this, but rather it's those relationships that are fostered through this kind of a program and this kind of a partnership that helps people to dispatch really quickly. So instead of going, oh my gosh, we don't know who to get a hold of or how to contact the people in Houston and get them necessary things, it was a member of one community organization calling another and saying, we've got a truck ready. Where do you want us to go? And that's the kind of thing that a program like the Sister Communities program allows and fosters, so that these kinds of things can happen very, very rapidly. Then just this year, a few months ago, and it's about 98 degrees with 1,000% humidity outside right now. So I'm looking at these icicles going, oh my gosh, I wish it would just cool down. This is really refreshing. But it was not refreshing then when people both within Oklahoma and all over Texas were hammered by the ice storms. And again, Cherokee Nation was able to respond really rapidly to folks throughout Texas. And again, that came from having those relationships with the people within the organization. So here's Brad again. He's one of our delivery guys, delivering water and other necessary goods to the folks in Houston and throughout Texas. Okay, so if this has been inspiring to you and you say, you know what, this is great. I don't have, my organization doesn't have a sister organization, but we'd love to learn more. You can go to CherokeesAtLarge.org, and there's more information there beyond just the sister communities. That's one tiny part of what the Cherokee at Large website has on it, but you can learn, has other resources too, like access to scholarships and all kinds of wonderful things. But the Cherokees at Large website is a good place to start. If you are interested in that, you can email myself, you can email Tammy, or you can email Kevin, and we can get you hooked up with that and start there. So I'm going to open it up for questions. I know we've got a little over 30, just a little under 30 minutes left in this time. We don't have to use the whole thing, but I would like to invite anybody to discuss their ideas or some of the projects. Like Ellie, if you were interested, we'd love to have you talk about the project that you are working on with the headstones and the graves. I'm going, if you do want to talk, go ahead and raise your hand, and then we'll figure out how to let you talk. And if there are any questions, you can pop them in the Q&A, or you can raise your hand, and we will similarly answer those. Until then, I'm going to, oh, I just lost it. I'm not sharing my screen anymore, I don't think. Am I? I don't think I am. Excuse me. Excuse me while we have some technical difficulties for just a moment. There we go. I had some general updates that I also wanted to share while we're waiting for anybody to pop in with questions. I just wanted to remind folks that if you are an at-large voter, unless you're able to travel to Tahlequah for early voting on July 17th, 20th, 21st, or 22nd, the best way to vote for the at-large race is by absentee ballot, and those request forms are due Monday, the 21st, so this coming Monday at 11:59 p.m. Central. And just make sure that those get emailed to the Election Commission. So that's election-commission@cherokee.org. And again, I'll just repeat that. I'm looking at the calendar here. Early voting in Tahlequah, so you can come to the Election Commission in Tahlequah on the 17th, the 20th, the 21st, or the 22nd of July to vote early. But if that's not easy for you to do, then the best way to be able to vote, again, is just submit an absentee ballot request form. Those are due Monday. Kevin wanted me to let you know that the CCO conference is going to be virtual again this year. It's sort of kicking off the Cherokee National Holiday, which will be a hybrid. It'll also be available virtually. But the CCO conference is happening virtually again August 21st. So keep your eye on the CCO website, the CCO Facebook page, because registration will be opening soon and there'll be more details on that. Really excited to have to be doing that again. I'll be doing a presentation on grant writing if that's something that you're interested in, and some other stuff about strategic planning. There's a great lineup of wonderful programming there, so just keep your eye on that Facebook page. If you have been talking with with me, your organization might be applying for their 501c3. So we're moving that along. We've got some really great response. Would just love to answer any questions that you might have. You can reach out to me. Again, my email is plastered all over this presentation, but it's just Lindi at epcollaboration.com. Happy to answer any questions that you have on that. And then one last thing that I wanted to mention is that CCO and Cherokee Nation have engaged in another program called Cherokee Wherever We Are. And so if you see this beautiful blue and yellow and white logo, that's the new program. And so what this is once a month, there's a live, it's like a TV show, I guess. It's a live YouTube show that we've put together, and it's really beautiful. And there's a new topic every month. So the first month we talked with up and coming Cherokee leaders about ways to get involved with Cherokee Nation and leadership programming there. Then the second one, we did a little bit of information about Cherokee Nation's response to COVID-19. And then this weekend we did our third one, and it was wonderful. And I encourage you to go check it out on YouTube because they're all posted there after they run live. But this one was it was all about Cherokee Nation outdoors and some of the really cool stuff that Cherokee Nation has done, Cherokee culture and Cherokee language surrounding all things outdoors. So it's a really great program. Again, it happens once a month. It's aired live on YouTube, but it's also archived there so you can go back and check it out later. I highly encourage everybody here to watch it. Just a really great way to see some of what's happening in Cherokee Nation right now, and just get more inspired. And maybe after watching it, you'll have some new ideas for your sister community organization as well. So I'm going to check the Q&A, which I don't see. It doesn't look like anybody has put any questions in there. It doesn't look like anybody has raised their hand. This is really cool. Ellie, I'm going to go ahead and read what you've put in the chat, but if anybody, if you'd like to talk, I'd love to hear more about this. So one of the new projects that they're doing, she says that the grave sites in Grass Valley are for the John Rowland Ridge family. Marble City found the matching marble and sent the stones to the Cherokees of Central Valley. And another Cherokee will be engraving those headstones, and then they're going to install the stones. So that's just I just love to see what kind of projects people come up with that help foster that cross-cultural engagement across time and space and learning with one another. So that's really wonderful. Ellie, if you want to talk any more about that project, we'd love to have you. And if there are no questions, I will let everybody have an extra 20 minutes of their day back, but I will stick around, and I know Tammy will stick around to answer any questions that you might have about this program. Yes, ma'am.
Hey, this is Donnie.
Hey, Donnie.
Since we have some extra time, I just wanted to say a couple of things, if you don't mind.
I don't mind at all. Take it away.
One of the things I want to talk about was the original origin of this program. I don't think I can pull up the video of myself here. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay. One of the things I wanted to mention was how this program kind of had its beginnings. I remember Chief Baker, before he was a chief, he was just considering a run. And so this was some time back. This had to be in 2010, maybe. And I was at McCreek swimming, and he dropped by to visit. And we were talking about just, what we would like to see in the Cherokee Nation in terms of community. And he said, wouldn't it be great if people here in Kenwood could connect with people, say, in California, where they could directly visit with one another? And I said, that would be wonderful. And because, we want to stay in touch with our elected officials. We as CCO want to support your organizations and help you do your work in your communities. But there's something different about staying connected to one another as Cherokee people, community people, citizens. And so I wanted to let everybody know that's where it kind of started. And it was just that simple statement: wouldn't it be great if, and honestly, that's a good way to start any sort of program or discussion. Wouldn't it be great if? And to see it come to fruition has been wonderful. I can't tell you how excited I get when I just log on to Facebook and then see a community member from Chewy or, someone local, in another city. It's real exciting for all of us. And I think why it's important for these connections to happen and this travel to happen, whether it's our local community citizens going out to our at-large communities or an at-large member coming to our annual conference, it's really interesting just to see the lay of the land, where our people are now. We're all over the country. We even have people around the world. It's interesting to see where Cherokee people are now, today, and what kind of places we live in, what impact we have on those places. And so when we get to see that for ourselves as citizens, it's really incredible. And then these wonderful things start happening where people are working together, supporting one another, and in difficult times, or an exchange of culture and visiting, helping with grave markers, history. This is incredible stuff. And this is what our people are supposed to do. The belief is that the Creator, has directed us, Cherokee people, as Anigaduwagi, the people that rise above, which is our original name. We are to be examples in this world. We are to be helpers in this world. And to see that come to fruition is wonderful. And it all started with, what if? Wouldn't it be nice if we could do these things? And so I want to acknowledge Chief Baker for that. And I also want to acknowledge Chief Hoskin for continuing this program and supporting this program and understanding how important it is. I also want to acknowledge Tammy Miller, and would like to ask her if she has some things to say about this program and put a name with a face, because she has been central in ensuring that this program took off and making sure that people stay connected. And she is the person that can match community to community. And I'm just so grateful to Tammy for this program. And I think really it is just one of the most important things we do, is to make sure our communities are connected. It's critical. It's important to be able to stay connected to one another, especially as a people that has been displaced on more than one occasion. And so, Tammy, your work is critical, and I thank you for it. And so, if Tammy would like to say something, that would be wonderful. I'm sorry if I'm putting you on the spot, Tammy, but would love to hear from you and some thoughts, and maybe how to contact you about this program.
Absolutely. Thank you, Donnie.
Uh-huh.
It is a very important program. And I have seen it come to fruition, Donnie, like you, and it's touching to me, because bringing the communities together and letting people know their cousins and them help their at-large people. So please, please get involved. And absolutely, we would love to connect you. Email me. I can, if you do not have a sister community, we can help you with that. If you have one and want an additional one, please email me, Tammy-Miller@cherokee.org, or Donnie, and we can help you to find a sister community or help you connect with another sister community. You can't have too many sisters. So please, please get involved.
Widow Tammy.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Lindi. Looks like
I'm here. Sorry, I am here. Sorry, I had to find my mute button.
It looks like our chat is getting active here.
A little bit, yes. So Ellie was just letting us know about a little bit more about the Marble City program, that they were going to come out to California, and then unfortunately COVID stopped their plans at that time. But I think it's important, and Tammy and I were talking about this, even though our travel is restricted right now, there's still ample opportunity and things that you can do to get connected with your sister community. And in fact, that's usually where it starts. It starts with connecting over the phone or connecting by email, connecting through Zoom. And then, travel happens after that. So there's, we haven't stopped. We haven't stopped doing anything. And Tammy, maybe you could give some clarity on this, but some of the grant fund or some of the funding that might have been available for organizations to do travel, since we're not traveling, you might be able to find creative ways to use that limited funding as well to implement some of your projects. So Tammy's giving me the nod, so I don't think I said anything that's incorrect. Tammy, if you want to add anything to that, you certainly can.
Absolutely. Yes, we do have funding for the local communities. They are allowed $1,000. Now, that was originally for travel, and right now we know the travel is limited, but there are many ways. Maybe you need a camera. Maybe you need to subscribe to Zoom so that you can do Zoom meetings with your sister communities. All of that is allowable through our program. And then for the at large, if you need anything like that, please reach out to us. Let us know. Chief Hoskins has been he's just been open to allowing everyone to get connected virtually. So there are so many ways. The local communities do not have it's harder for them because they don't have internet, but we are trying very hard. Chief Hoskins is trying very hard to get them internet access, Wi-Fi devices. There are many ways to connect virtually. So please reach out to us. The funding is available. It can be used in different ways. We do encourage, when travel opens back up, to connect that way, but for now it's more safe to do that virtually. And there are so many other things that have happened with the sister communities. And so hopefully during conference, we can connect in some way again with our sister communities. If you have not heard from your sister community in a while, let us know and we'll try to hook you up with them virtually. So yes, the funding is still available. So just let us know if we can help you with any of that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I see, I know Dixie said that she wants to be more involved. So I grabbed your email, Dixie. So thank you so much for that. And Paul also said that he was interested in, he didn't know about this program and was excited to hear about it. So hopefully, Paul, you'll reach out and we'll be able to connect you and your organization a little bit more as well. So with that, I think we've covered quite a lot of ground, and I'm so excited for this. And if anybody has anything else they'd like to say, this is it. And if not, I hope you get to go to lunch 10 minutes early today. Thanks everybody for coming.
Bye.
No.